Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lewis Center interview series. Our guest today is my friend and colleague Gladys Gonzalez of Geekdom, San Antonio's startup hotspot and co-working space. As community engagement manager at Geekdom, Gladys supports the startup ecosystem by fostering partnerships, organizing events such as the terrific San Antonio Startup Week, and creating opportunities for international collaboration. Drawing on her strong communication skills in English and Spanish, her passion for supporting small businesses, and her strong background in international business, economic development, and community engagement, she is dedicated to driving growth and innovation in our community. Gladys also previously worked with the City of San Antonio and the City of Laredo, where she managed small business programs, public relations, and community initiatives. Gladys holds an MBA from Texas A&M International University and a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from Trinity University. Currently, she's a member of the San Antonio Rotary Club, the World Affairs Council, and the Trinity Alumni Board San Antonio chapter. Gladys, thanks so much for being our guest today. It's great to see you again.
Hi, Rafael. Thank you so much for having me. You guys do fantastic work at the Lewis Center in promoting both understanding and just strengthening international relations. So I'm really excited to be here and just have a conversation with you. So again, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Gladys, for our first question, I want to go back to your roots. You're from Laredo, Texas, a legendary border city that is known for its biculturalism. Tell us, how did your upbringing there prepare you for your professional path and specifically for your current role at Geekdom?
Wow. Well, I think Laredo's my hometown. It's always going to have a special place in my heart. And I think growing up there was very unique. It's a very unique experience growing up in a border town city. And like you said, one with such ingrained biculturalism in it. I think what makes Laredo so special is you have Laredo and you have Nuevo Laredo, and these are they're not literally sister cities, but they are one city. And I think I can. I mean, I don't want to speak for the whole population, but I think everyone in Laredo or Nuevo Laredo has some family or some relation or some connection to the other side of the border. So. In Laredo, you have this biculturalism of English and Spanish, Mexican and American and Texan, in which the cultures blend, the languages, tradition, and even the municipal economy, they bleed into each other regarding what current events are happening in either side of the border. So it's felt very deeply by both cities. I think something else that makes Laredo very special, or at least what's prepared me, is that I learned how to navigate diverse environments and just create inclusive spaces for people. 95% of Laredo's population is actually Hispanic, and out of the residents, 20% of the population, I think it's 260,000 people, 20% live below the poverty line, which the state average in Texas is 13%. So I think in my current role in Geekdom, as community engagement manager, not just me, but I think the organization tries to create accessible opportunities and just overall opportunities for underrepresented founders, startups, and small businesses in San Antonio.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Laredo. It's I mean, in some ways, like many ways, like San Antonio, right? I mean, it's a gateway to Mexico, right? We're also, I think both cities have a long way to go, but are making good progress in helping underserved communities in that underserved portion of the population. And the cities are making great strides, but really special in that they are gateways to not only to Mexico, right? But then to Latin America, right? I mean, you think about, that's where the whole Spanish-speaking world, really, I mean, some of it is here in San Antonio and the United States, of course, but really, begins at the border there, and Laredo is right up to it. But yes, also a gateway to Latin America. And last year you were invited to deliver a presentation to the City of San Antonio's Latin American Engagement Task Force. And that's actually where we met, of course. Could you explain the connection between geekdom and Latin America? Like, why was geekdom invited, with you representing, to speak at the city of San Antonio's Latin American Engagement Task Force? And why did you feel it was important to present to that group? And how does geekdom contribute to the city's efforts to engage with Latin America?
Okay. Well, Geekdom was invited because we do a lot of entrepreneurship work, and again, we support small businesses in the community. I don't mean for it to sound redundant, but so much of San Antonio's economy, the backbone of it is entrepreneurship and small businesses. And there's this pipeline of entrepreneurs becoming small business owners, and they grow into larger uh, businesses naturally. I felt that it was important to attend because we live in a time of globalization. The world is so interconnected, and I mean, better that San Antonio, it is an international city. Like you were saying, Laredo's a gateway city, so San Antonio, we have I think it's 13 sister cities now. We have 13 sister cities. Our airport keeps growing. And I think Geekdom, I can expand on our mission. Our mission is to build San Antonio one entrepreneur at a time. And there was just this gap in which so many international opportunities for entrepreneurs that want to come to Texas. Texas is one of the strongest economies in the world. San Antonio is the fastest growing city in the state. Business is good. And we want to create a space for these businesses to come to Texas and thrive. And yeah.
There's so much talent, in Latin America. So many talented young people who are they're hungry to start their own businesses, to contribute to the world economy, and to work in the United States, and looking to the United States, especially those with a business mindset, as the place that they want to be, and I've met so many young talented entrepreneurs in the making, particularly in our Mexico campuses. We've got our Mexico City campus. We have our campus Bajío, right outside the city of Irapuato, and some of those students have come and competed in competitions here in the United States and have done super well. And they come with an excitement that I would say surpasses the excitement of the residents, the U.S. residents, just because they're so excited. So it's great. It's great work that you're doing to engage those Latin American entrepreneurs. And tell us a little bit more. Like what's some of the work that you're doing with entrepreneurs from Latin America right now?
I think I'll start by saying that we're trying to, I think, bridge knowledge gaps, be it I need an immigration lawyer, or I need immigration resources, or just international resources overall. So we've started to connect some individuals that are interested in coming to the US with those powerful connections and resources. And additionally, Geekdom, as you know, it's an incubator, but it's also a co-working space, and we're located in the heart of downtown San Antonio. We have a really powerful relationship with AEM, the Asociación de Empresarios Mexicanos. So we want to create both space for to connect them to resources, but also the space for them to physically be here and physically experience the city and start growing and developing here. I think my favorite moment from last year, we had San Antonio Startup Week, and on Tuesday we had it was a Latinx Day, and we were highlighting Latin founders or these international topics for founders in Mexico and in other parts of Latin America, and even the US, that they could connect and resonate with. And we closed the evening with a puro pitch competition. It was a pitch competition for Hispanic and Latino founders. And there was this business, they actually came as a referral from the UTSA SBDC International Trade TIVA Center. I want to give a shout out to Carolina Doyos. She's the project manager. She's fantastic. And the business that came is called Nuliav. So Nuliav, I consider it to be an industry disruptor, but it's an almond milk powder that's it has a more accessible cost and it's easier than carrying a gallon of almond milk everywhere you go with you. The founders are Joaquin Sanchez and Veronica Llanera. Like, also big shout out to them. And I remember they applied, and I was like, well, yeah, look, let's have them apply. Let's see how they go. And they were selected in the top five to pitch. And then we were like, well, we have to cross this bridge about language accessibility and like having them here. And me as a Mexican American, I felt it was very powerful to have them come from Mexico City. They pitched in Spanish and they ended up winning second place. So they won $10,000. It was
Awesome.
phenomenal. I remember talking to Nuliav and they were like just being here, like it was just so electrifying. Just like you were saying, a lot of these founders, they're so eager and excited, and they see the opportunity and they just kind of want to eat the world with it.
No doubt. So, and you made reference to Startup Week, and
Mhm.
I got to tell you, I connected a little bit to some of the recordings of Startup Week that you had posted. You did a real nice job on posting some of that to LinkedIn, and I was really blown away by just. I mean, I loved your presentation at the City of San Antonio Latin American Engagement Task Force meeting, and that's really what got me thinking about geekdom, and so I went when I saw we connected on LinkedIn, and then I saw some of your postings and some of the videos. And first of all, let me congratulate you on what a terrific. I didn't get to attend in person this year, but I could see from the recordings that that's an event. It's just so full of energy, so well attended, so professionally done, Gladys. And so, I mean, I can just imagine, like, these young entrepreneurs from Mexico coming in and winning a $10,000 prize at that event. They must have been elated. And
Yeah.
now tell me a little bit about, you've so, and I know, I'm understanding more and more because, you and I have had a couple of conversations, but I think it's important for our audience to really understand like how geekdom really operates, and for you, you're in that reality every day, but I know you have this workspace, right? Tell us a little bit about that workspace, what it's like. Just describe like what's the layout? Like, do people come in and work there every day? They have their own space where they go every day? Is there shared spaces?
Well, like I said earlier, our mission is to build San Antonio one entrepreneur at a time. That's our North Star. Geekdom is a small business and entrepreneurship incubator, and it is also a co-working space. We're located, like I said, I love saying we're in the corazon of downtown San Antonio. We're located in the historic Rand building. It's a beautiful building in between Houston Street and Soledad, and Geekdom has 4 floors. And part of how we operate, we have programming, of course, for entrepreneurs, be it the Wednesday workshops, be it the startup boot camp, the pre-accelerator, and the incubator. And each one of our programs touches on a different stage of the business cycle, be it ideation, creation, shape, or grow. Um, we do have different types of members, and it's a little interesting. I've been working at Geekdom for over a year, but you have some people that have a co-working membership, and some of them they're not founders, but they just enjoy being a part of the community, and they come and they co-work from here. But you have other people that walk in and they go through our boot camp and they start a business and they start co-working, and then they level up to a desk, and then after the desk they're like, well, I keep scaling, so I need to get an office, and to the point that they outgrow the organization, and their journey with us ends, and we part ways. But I think we try to empower our members through education, be it programming, access to resources, and access to financials such as pitch competitions. We like to invest in our members, and finally mentorship. We have a network of over 90 mentors, and I consider each and every one of them to be a subject matter expert in their industry, be it consumer packaged goods, financials, fintech, biotechnology, be it what it is, marketing. You'll find someone here.
You guys have so many resources to provide. I mean, I just love it. And you know, one of the many things that you do is you do also, you know, you can provide a little bit of funding to the businesses. And that's just one of many resources you provide. But where do you get the money? Like, where do you get the money to, you know, to first of all, to operate your you know, your organization, and also to help fund some of these entrepreneurs and for the prizes you give and so forth?
Well, we have a very generous benefactor. Most of our funding comes from this gentleman, but we're also open to sponsorships from local organizations, local businesses. Some of our members are very happy with their journey, and they're very generous in returning back to the community. I'd like to say, for example, for the Puro Pitch competition, this prize was sponsored by Inicio Ventures. They do fantastic work in supporting Latin philanthropy in the US. So it kind of comes from everywhere.
Yeah. And if someone, you know, you talk about you know, there's the one really generous benefactor, but you have donations. And when I attended your State of Geekdom luncheon, which by the way was great, and thank you for inviting me. It was really well attended. I learned a lot, and I could see just right there all of the people that had, you know, given some donation or that are sponsors. It was really a terrific list. And if someone wants to give money, what do they go to your website? What's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Well, my email is gladys@geekdom.com. If anyone has any questions, I'm always open to answers. But we have a partnership with the San Antonio Area Foundation. We established a nonprofit fund called the Accelerate South Texas Fund. And through this fund, not only do we support Geekdom, but we also support other nonprofits in the South Texas area that have the same mission as us, to have these economic development incentives that support small businesses and entrepreneurs in the state. So they can donate through there, or if they're interested in sponsoring a workshop or San Antonio Startup Day, or even getting involved, I'm the best point of contact.
That's great. That's great, Gladys. And then the information, you know, you mentioned your email, which is easy to remember, but it's also available, of course, on your website, right? What is your website? Is it geekdom.com or org?
.com. It's very easy. www.geekdom.com.
That's great.
There should be a tab that says how to get involved, and you can get involved either as a sponsor or a mentor or just a member of the community. It's very exciting being here. There's always something going on in the different floors. You really never know who you're going to run into or what's going on. And West Houston Street, downtown, I mean, come on, it doesn't get any better than that.
I know it. You know, you mentioned I want to just give a shout out to the Asociación de Empresarios Mexicanos. You mentioned them as you know, you have a good relationship with them, as do we. One of my recent guests was actually Victor Reina, who is the new president of the Asociación, and is a UIW alumnus, and Victor has become a good friend. And you know, we've talked a lot about Mexico, you know, the Laredo, you know, and Laredo, Nuevo Laredo, the obvious connection to Mexico there. But I know that you also have members of your staff, at least one, right, who is of Colombian descent, right? And I think remember when you and I had our meeting? Is she not from Colombia?
No, Mari's from Honduras.
She's from Honduras. Okay, that's right. That was the connection, because my previous student assistant, Dulce Valladares, was from Honduras as well. We've got some really talented people from Honduras here. It's such a small country, you know, and they contribute so much to our community. Yeah, she's from Honduras. Well, shout out to Honduras, and shout out to my previous student assistant, um, Dulce Valladares. You do also have a relationship to with uh, the Amigos de Colombia, right? With Sebastián Garzón.
Yes, yes. Yes, and I just wanted to add on the Honduras thing. I think there's so many Hondurans in San Antonio, so many Central Americans, but I think what's always impressed me is how they rally behind each other and how they support each other as a community. Like they've made their own niche group here, and they're always pushing each other forward and lifting each other up, which I think is beautiful. And I think we're in a time where we should be building more bridges and, extending our hands more. And speaking of Amigos de Colombia, yes, we're connected with Amigos de Colombia. I'm hoping to be more involved with them, but Sebastian's great and he has some fantastic incentives. And Colombia and San Antonio's relationship, I think, just keeps growing. I know there were some delegations that visited in the past year and the previous year before. So I'm excited to see which direction they continue growing.
For sure, and I want to, for the benefit of our audience members who may not be familiar with the rich kind of mix of different Latin American people in San Antonio. The Mexican part is the obvious, right? But San Antonio has become so diverse in terms of the different Latino groups who are here. We mentioned the Hondureños, the Colombians, and I just think it's really nice to see the way like Hondureños and Mexicans, or Colombianos and Mexicans, Hondureños and Colombians. I think it is a lot of not just the linguistic bonds, that they speak Spanish, but there's also cultural bonds there. Of course, they're different. Of course, even within Mexico, I mean, even Laredo and Nuevo Laredo, right? Just that's a big difference. But there is also those common cultural, let's call it Hispanic threads that really allow for these relationships to blossom. My previous student assistant, Dulce Valladares, she's really good friends with my new student assistant, Andrea Rodriguez Reina, who's from Monclova, Coahuila. Shout out to Coahuila, my family's state. And but really nice to see those bonds just kind of naturally forming. And then on the professional front, I know that the Asociación de Empresarios Mexicanos had that nice event with the Amigos de Colombia, where they had that meeting together. I didn't get a chance to attend. Did you go? Did you happen to be at that?
Oh, and I remember it was on my calendar, but something came up that day, unfortunately. But it sounds like it went really great, and I know yo sé que I don't know how to say it in English. Yo sé que Víctor es bien movido y Sebastián es bien movido, so I know they're definitely cooking up something.
Definitely, yeah, and it's great to see those connections, and that and that Geekdom, I feel like has the finger on the pulse of that Latin American culture and all the young talent that we have that's coming up. You've referenced some of the events that you all have, Gladys, and I've had a chance to see some of the startup week, for example, on the videos, and then to attend the State of Geekdom luncheon. I know you have some upcoming events that surely are coming up here in the coming months. Do you want to make mention of anything special that you have on the near horizon?
The near horizon. Well, we recently announced the dates for San Antonio Startup Week for this week.
Okay, great.
We recently moved them a week earlier. I think it's going to be October 14th to October 18th. This year is going to be our 10th San Antonio Startup Week, and every year they say, oh yeah, next year is going to be bigger and better. But with this one being the 10-year anniversary, it is going to be probably the biggest one to date. So we're expecting over 3,000 attendees, and we've recently started gearing up the programming for it. It's a year in the making. But yeah, it's going to be here at Geekdom. It's going to be here down in the downtown area, and naturally we're open to ecosystem partners that want to collaborate and just want to share their knowledge and resources and make the event bigger and better.
That's awesome. 10-year anniversary. Yeah, I mean, I think it's important that we're already looking to the fall because it'll be here. It'll be here before we know it. And I know that planning those big events. We're focusing on a big event in October as well right now. So yeah, October 14th to 18th, Startup Week, 10-year anniversary, and 3,000 participants expected to be there in the audience, and then of course all the great people who will be presenting. Well, I'm definitely marking my calendar for that, Gladys. I want to congratulate you for all the terrific work that you guys do and the way that you continue to grow. The energy that I felt at the State of Geekdom luncheon, it was palpable. It was great to see, some of the dignitaries there. Our beloved Consul General Ruben Minuti and Tommy Calvert, and just a whole series of people there. Who really have taken notice of the great work that you're doing. Congratulations. Keep it moving. They're fortunate to have someone like you, Gladys, and thanks again for taking the time to be with us today.
No, thank you so much for having me on and showing me on your platform. This is great, and I hope it was fruitful. I hope listeners learned a thing or two, and I hope they're excited for everything happening in San Antonio.
They will be, Gladys, and I will be in touch with you here in the next couple of weeks about one thing or another, I'm sure. Thanks so much.
Of course. Well, thank you, and goodbye.
Bye.